Hello, my name is Diana Murillo, and today I'll be talking about one of Shakespeare's sonnets. So the sonnet that I chose from Shakespeare's book is 129. So to give you guys a broad understanding of this, I'm going to be reading some footnotes for you guys to understand, and then also I'm going to give you guys a general idea before we jump in, you know? Okay, so the general idea of this is basically talking about this man who's dealing with the emotion of lust. This sonnet is like generally all about lust and how I guess how these feelings are so complex. And this man is just riding the wave of emotions. He feels shame, he feels like he did something bad, but then he also feels bliss in it, and he doesn't remorse it. Okay. And then some footnotes that we'll be looking at right here is Once It Helped Me was number 3, 4, and 5, and then also 12. But 12 we'll get into it later on in the discussion, so I'm just going to be talking about 3, 4, and 5. So, um, so 3 means full of blame, guilt, of course. Rude. Rude was the one that was kind of confusing. For me, I thought rude just meant being rude. However, rude actually means violent, to trust, or to be trusted. So I thought that was really interesting and something you guys should look towards while reading. And then straight means immediately, and then they have a little bit of backstory, but I'm not going to get into it. Okay, so now let's go to the reading. Okay, so the reading begins. The expense of spirit in a waste of shame is lust in action, and till action, lust is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust. Enjoyed no sooner, but despised it straight. Past reasons hunted, and no sooner had. Past reasons hated, as swallowed a bait. On purpose laid to make the takers mad. Mad in pursuit, and in possession so. Had, having, and in quest to have extreme. A bliss in proof and proved a very woe before a joy proposed, behind a dream. All this the world well knows, yet no one knows well to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. So, just let you guys settle with that reading. And before we jump into my discussion, I just want to say that two of my favorite lines. I have two favorite lines. So I really like to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. It's a really powerful ending. And not only that, but I really like how, let me see, right here. I think it's this one. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Where it says had, having, and in quest to have. It's such a fun thing to say out loud. And also I really like the third to the last, which is before a joy is proposed, behind a dream. It's such a powerful statement as well, and I think it has a really good closing ending. Alright, so let's get into the discussion. Woo-hoo. Okay, so discussion time. Okay, so for my discussion, after reading Sonnet 129, after reading it, you can look at the general topic, which I already talked about before, which is about talking about the lust of humans, the lust of somebody. I found the sonnet really interesting at first glance, though, For it was talking about really contradicting topics. How it goes from talking about lust and love to shame and possession. And I think it was just really strange, and it just grabbed your attention. Then reading this sonnet thoroughly, you can tell about how how the main focus is lust, like I said in the beginning. Again, lust is everywhere. So in my opinion, lust means the want to somebody, mainly in the sexual matter. And in line 5, which states, enjoy no sooner, but despise straight. Breaking that down, despise means to have a feeling or an attitude of despising someone or something. Despising meaning to hate, not to like, to dislike. So taking from that, what I take from that line is how quite possibly maybe this man, he enjoyed the moment, he embraced the moment, he was in the heat of the moment, but then it quickly went away. And then pondering on it and thinking back on it and thinking of it, like the thought of it just made him hate it. He despised it with a passion. And then not only that, but then taking that line again apart, I found myself pondering about the possibility about Shakespeare talking about an affair in this. The reason being is because he talks about how lust was at the moment, and then he lost it doing this heinous act, using words like cruel and savage and rude. Rude, in the footnotes, like I said, rude being something violent to be trusted and trusted. So, quite possibly, he found himself in the heat of the moment, embracing it, and then all of a sudden, an instant wave of regret just hits him. It reminds me of times like now, how people trick their minds into thinking that they love someone, yet it's only lust. And I feel like these are the emotions that Shakespeare's going through throughout this. Shakespeare's characters are going through. They're trying to handle these emotions, so they're just kind of they're embracing it, but then they're also regretting it in such a negative and hateful fashion. Like like I said, using the words like savage and cruel and rude and all those things. Just to talk about a couple things that confused me during this reading, because this reading took quite a while to understand thoroughly. I still don't quite understand it. I feel like it'll take a lot of analysis to get where I need to go to understand Shakespeare's words. Um, so things that confused me was the word perjured, which was on line 3. Later, I found out that perjured means the feeling of guilt, of swearing falsely, and willingly under oath. So simply, this line, Shakespeare stating that lust is perjured. So lust is or makes you feel as though you've done something that should cause you pure guilt. Like I said, maybe this guy had an affair, and now he's just going with the waves of regret, and he just feels like maybe lust is just something that you're supposed to feel guilty of. But how can you feel so bad when it feels so good? Another part that confused me was on footnote 12. Footnote 12 is something else. Okay, so my camera cut off. Footnote 12 threw me off completely because it talks about rape. Now, see, some of the footnotes, as you saw, gave a little bit of backstory, but I didn't really understand the backstory because I never really read anything of Shakespeare. So the footnotes were kind of new to me. But I thought it was really quite shocking because it was talking about rape. And I was like, where is that anywhere? So So for the lines, it states, before joy is proposed, behind a dream. So at first glance, I assumed that maybe he was dreaming about his lover. He knew that he would earn joy from these lustful actions between them. However, it was all fantasy. yeah, the footnote really threw me off, and I'm not really sure where it was trying to take it. But I mean, I'm assuming that's where he was trying to take it. Because if he was trying to take it to rape, that's a crazy concept. And I just thought that was really weird, and it was just confusing. But overall, this sonnet was really fun to read and really interesting. I feel like it's really complex, and there's so many more sides to it that meets the eye. But overall, you could tell that this is about lust, and this is about this man wanting this woman, and he in for passion. It's really passion. It has a lot of passion in it. But I hope you enjoyed my sonnet. And this is Sonnet 129. And if you want to read it for yourself, you're more than welcome to. But that's about it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.